You're having your favorite coffee early in the morning and going through your messages when all of a sudden you get a call. It's the hard words of someone or something that knocks you out. Being mean, and all of a sudden your day doesn't look as good when you have to deal with bad people. Dealing with people is a problem we all face, but how we handle it can make a huge difference. The dynamics. Have you ever noticed how one bad word can sometimes damage a stay in your mind longer than a praise? It's like a stain on your favorite shirt that won't come out of the washer. This is where your power lives. Being able to see that spot and choose not to let it ruin your shirt or day. This is about realizing that these hard times say less about you, and Marcus's thoughts help him learn more about the other person's inner struggles and fears. Aurelius said something wise that has stood the test of time. If someone blames you, hates you, or says similar things about you, go to their hearts. Go inside and find out what kind of people they are. Then you'll know there's no reason to be upset. Worry that they might have a certain opinion about you. This perspective asks us to look beyond the surface interactions and try to figure out why other people do the things they do. Actions. This time of facing evil also gives us a wonderful chance to think about yourself. So I dare you to look inside yourself and peel back the layers of the truths about yourself have been hidden by social norms and expectations. By other people's criticism, are you letting their bad mood define your day or your worth? Let's start this journey of finding ourselves together. Exploring ways to not only deal with harmful people, but also to improve how we feel about ourselves. Number 1. Being self-aware. You've probably met someone who always seems to make things worse. We call these people toxic because they make it hard to see, because they spread negativity like a cloud of smoke. But what if I told you there was a way to clear the air and find your way through the smoke without getting lost? Being self-aware is the first step, just like knowing you can't smoke makes you not do it. Knowing how to deal with bad people can help you emotionally keep your distance. It reminds me of a lesson an old fencing master gave his students. The real skill in fencing wasn't just attacking, but knowing exactly when to dodge. So the next time someone toxic hits you, picture yourself doing a perfect sidestep. You don't take the blow because you know your boundaries and respect them enough not to let anyone cross them. This doesn't need anger or a counterattack, just a calm, unwavering understanding of who you are now. It's not as hard as you might think to really use what you've learned every day. When dealing with negativity, think of it like tying your shoes. At first you have to pay attention, but after a while it becomes second nature. Take a step back and ask yourself, why does this bother me? What can I learn from this? These questions aren't meant to make excuses for other people. They're meant to strengthen your own mental grit. Take a moment to realize that this path will not be smooth. Self-awareness and getting through other people's smoke. It's not a fairy tale to be negative. Some days it will seem easier to just react and take back what was said or done to you, but that's a short-lived victory that leaves you feeling hollow because it goes against who you are. Remember that you're not making this choice because it's easy. You're making it because it's the right one for you. This isn't about ignoring the bad things that happen, but recognizing them without letting them get to you. Define your actions, so take on the task. It makes you sharper, more resilient, and in the long run, stronger. Knowing your own personality, thoughts, motivations, and wants is called self-awareness. It helps people understand their skills, weaknesses, and how they affect other people. It is the basis of personal growth and emotional intelligence. To make better decisions, have better relationships, and feel better generally, we need to learn more about ourselves. Learn to understand your feelings. Figure out your feelings. Check in with yourself often to figure out how you're feeling and why. Think about what events or situations make you feel strongly emotional and why they make you feel that way. Know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Do a self-assessment by writing down your skills and weaknesses. Ask for feedback. Be honest with friends, family, or co-workers who you trust about your strengths and flaws. Watch what you think. Practices for mindfulness. Take up mindfulness or meditate to become more aware of your patterns and ideas. Challenge negative thoughts. Figure out what negative or irrational thoughts are getting in the way of your success and fight them. Know what you believe and what you value. Clarify values. Think about what ideas and values are most important to you. Align actions. Make sure that the things you do and the choices you make are in line with your core values. Think about what you did. Daily reflection. Every day, take a few minutes to think about what you did and how you behaved. Change as needed. Make changes to your actions and choices in the future based on what you've thought about. In conclusion, being self-aware is a journey that never ends and takes regular work and thought. You can become more self-aware and live a more fulfilling and true life by being aware of your feelings, strengths, and weaknesses, keeping an eye on your thoughts, being clear about your values, and thinking about what you've done. Number 2, how to forgive and remember. If you look up at the sky, do you notice how the stars shine brightly even though there is darkness all around them? Think of these stars as people who add value to your life by guiding you with understanding and empathy. On the other hand, you may come across black holes, which are people who are toxic and pull you into their darkness, taking away your joy and energy. So, the question is there a way to navigate this cosmic dance of relationships without getting sucked into these black holes? Imagine that you are a spaceship that is powered not by hydrogen, but by courage and wisdom. Your courage is what forgives others, what sets you free from any harmful influence, what frees you from the weight of resentment that holds you down with painful memories and grudges. But every spaceship needs a way to find its way. Keep this in mind. The one who keeps life's lessons, the quiet voice telling you to turn around when a known black hole comes into view, blocks your flight path. The truth is that toxic experiences we've had in the past aren't chains. They're just points on a star map that show us the way to better places. Every bad experience with a toxic person teaches us a lesson, and every strong feeling we feel becomes a lighthouse that helps us avoid those people in the future. Forgiveness and memory work together like a compass to help us find our way through the complicated world of relationships. With these ideas in mind, I want you to think about who you see as a star and who you need to move away from like a black hole on your journey through these relationships. Let your memory help you find your way so that you don't repeat the same mistakes in the dance of relationships. In this complicated ballet of life, let us strive to be the spaceship that navigates through cosmic chaos with refined grace, powered by the power of forgiveness and guided by the wisdom of memory. Forgiving someone is a strong action that can help you heal emotionally and grow as a person. It frees us from the grip of bad feelings by letting go of anger and bitterness. But forgetting does not mean that you forgive. It's also important to remember what you learned from past mistakes so you don't make the same ones again. We will talk about 5 important points in this lesson that show how important it is to both forgive and remember, offering you a balanced way to deal with past hurts. How to understand forgiveness. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you agree with what they did wrong or forget about it. It takes a conscious choice to let go of anger and plans for payback. When you forgive someone, you let go of the mental weight that is holding you back and can move on with a lighter heart. Seeing the pros and cons forgiving others is good for your physical and mental health in many ways. Stress, anxiety, and sadness go away, and it can even make your immune system stronger. Remembering the things you've learned from the past helps you make better choices in the future, which leads to personal growth and strength. How to set limits. It's important to set healthy limits to keep yourself safe from future harm while you forgive. Remembering the actions and behaviors that hurt you can help you spot warning signs and stay away from similar ones. This balance makes sure that you don't end up being mistreated over and over again. How to show empathy. Forgiving someone means having a lot of empathy for them. If someone has hurt you, try to see things from their point of view. It can be easier to forgive someone when you see that they are human and that their acts may have had a reason. By encouraging kindness and understanding, remembering this helps you keep your relationships healthy. Getting smarter and bigger. Both remembering and forgiving are important for mental growth. You can let go of the past when you forgive, but you have to remember it in order to learn from it. Think about what the experience taught you about other people and yourself, and then use what you've learned to be smarter in future encounters. In fact, forgiving and remembering don't contradict each other. They work best together. You break free from the chains of anger and bitterness when you forgive. By remembering, you make sure that the lessons you've learned from the past help you live a more thoughtful and satisfying life. Accept both methods to get better, heal, and do well. Number 3, stability in emotions. Getting through life when you're around toxic people can be like hiking through thick fog. You can't see where you're going, and each step feels uncertain. But what if I told you there was a way to clear the fog? It starts from within, with the emotional strength that comes from practicing Stoicism. Think of that person who, no matter how crazy things get, never seems to get upset, like a mountain standing strong in the face of a storm. Being indifferent or cold isn't the point. It's about realizing that the only thing we can really control is how we react to the outside world. Stoicism teaches us that our power lies in how we react, not in trying to control the uncontrollable. So when we're around toxic people, we summon our inner Stoic, and instead of getting involved in the drama, we pause. It's like being in the middle of a hurricane. Everything is crazy outside, but here it's calm inside. We can breathe, think, and then act from a place of calm reason in this space. It means shifting our attention from what's going on around us to how we're going to let it affect our inner peace. One way to do this is to practice awareness. It is used a lot these days, but here's the cool thing: it works. Mindfulness helps us stand back and observe the chaos without getting caught up in it. It's not about ignoring the negativity. It's about recognizing it without letting it control our peace. It's about realizing that these moments will pass, just like clouds in the sky. So the next time you're in the middle of negativity, remember that you're the architect of your peace. Build it strong. Number 4, setting boundaries. Imagine that every interaction you have is like a brushstroke on a painting of your day. Some strokes are bright and positive, making your life more beautiful. Other strokes are dark, heavy, and inconsistent, left by toxic people in your life. These interactions don't just leave a mark, they change the whole masterpiece of your day, your mood, and even how you see yourself. Think about the ancient Stoics. They were in charge of their own minds, not by avoiding problems, but by building walls around themselves. They knew that not all criticism or negative energy was worth their time. What if I told you that you could use the same Stoicism to deal with toxic people? It's not about making a wall that can't be broken down. It's about choosing which gates to open. Being selectively open doesn't make you less of a person. It makes you a guardian of your own peace. Imagine that your energy is limited and valuable, like water in a desert. Every exchange you have is like giving away a drug of that water. Would you rather give it to someone who plants seeds in your desert and makes it bloom, or to someone who lets it evaporate in the scorching sun? Setting boundaries means using your time and energy wisely, not with pride or disdain, but with the calm resolve of a Stoic who knows his worth and the value of his time. It means calmly telling them, "This is where I draw the line because your peace is not up for negotiation, so let's move forward with this attitude." Every day is a chance to paint your masterpiece and put your energy where it will grow magic. Remember that setting boundaries for yourself is not an act of aggression, it's an act of self-respect and wisdom. Start today by defining where your garden ends and the wild begins, not by cutting people out, and watch how your life changes. If this video speaks to you, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more insights. Setting limits is an important skill for keeping partnerships and your own health in good shape. Boundaries help us know what we can and can't do, and keep our mental, emotional, and physical area safe. Setting clear limits helps others respect and understand us by letting them know what we need and expect from them. We will talk about why setting boundaries is important and how to do it in different areas of life in this lesson. Understand how important boundaries are for personal health. Setting limits keeps our mental and emotional health in good shape by keeping us from getting burned out or angry. Healthy relationships build respect and understanding between two people, which leads to deeper bonds. Self-respect. Recognizing your own wants and limits by setting limits is a form of self-respect. Set limits for yourself. Think about yourself. Think about what you stand for, what you need, and what you can't do. Think back on times when you felt uncomfortable or disrespected, and write them down. Number of different types of boundaries. Keep in mind that limits can be real, imagined, emotional, or even digital. Different things need to be thought about and done for each type. Make your point clear and firmly. Use statements with I. Use phrases like "I feel" or "I need" to set limits without sounding critical, and to keep the focus on your own experiences. Be clear and direct. Don't leave any room for doubt about what you want or need. This keeps people from getting confused and makes sure your point gets across. Be consistent and do what you say you'll do. Keep your limits in place. Stick to them to show that you are serious about them. Being inconsistent can cause problems and show lack of respect. Deal with resistance. Expect resistance, especially if you're setting limits with someone who often breaks them. Keep your cool and state your limits again. Check your limits and make changes as needed. Checking in often. Check your boundaries every so often to make sure they still fit your wants and situation. Change them as needed. Learn from your mistakes. Think about times when your limits were put to the test. You can improve your ability to set limits by learning from these situations. In conclusion, being self-aware, communicating clearly, and being consistent are all important parts of setting limits. You can protect your health, make your relationships healthier, and live a balanced and satisfying life by learning and following these principles. Remember that setting boundaries doesn't mean building walls. It means making a place where you and others feel safe and respected. Number 5. Energy intelligence. When you're with someone whose energy is like a storm turning your sunny day upside down, it can be hard to stay calm. Being around dangerous people can make even the calmest person feel weak. But let's look inward and consider the idea of energy intelligence as our compass. Think of your energy as a wall, like an old city wall, that keeps out unwanted negativity and protects you. Now think about the power of choice in these situations. Just like choosing the right fuel for your car affects its performance and longevity, you can choose how you react and interact with people who drain your energy. Responding with patience and understanding, or choosing not to interact with them at all, can be your superfuel, boosting your emotional health and keeping you on a steady course. It's not about avoiding conflict, it's about gaining knowledge and making decisions that are in line with your peace. Using this intelligence is more than just self-control. It's about making a space around you that is so stable that even the strongest storm can't shake it. shake your foundation. Like a tree firmly rooted in the ground, you are immovable not because the wind doesn't blow around you, but because you've learned how to bend and sway with it without breaking your strength and flexibility. Destroy harmful energy, giving it no choice but to go away or move on. Now I want you to think about how you've been handling your energy during hard times. Remember the times when other people's negativity made you feel like you couldn't handle anything else. Did you let their storm cloud your sky, or did you shine even brighter and bring both of them back to calm? This journey isn't about becoming immune to problems. It's about realizing that you have a lot of strength and wisdom inside you, ready to face any challenge that comes your way. Take a moment to breathe and remember how powerful you are. Going forward, how will you use this energy intelligence to not only protect your peace, but also show others the way? Remember that the real test of your inner strength isn't how well you avoid the storm, but how well you dance in the rain. Number 6, focus on goals. When you're really focused on something, like learning a new skill, reaching a fitness goal, or even making progress on your personal projects, it seems like you're on the right track. But then, out of the blue, you run into people or situations that dampen your spirit. These encounters can throw you off like a gust of wind redirecting a paper airplane. It's disappointing, to say the least. Take the case of Jordan. Jordan was determined to start a small online business, but his friends and family were skeptical. Some spoke out loudly, while others suggested safer paths. Many of us have been in this situation before, so instead of getting into pointless arguments or trying to prove his ambitions, Jordan worked on getting better at what he did, learning more and building his business one step at a time. What can we learn from Jordan's trip? A strong belief in one's goal and a refusal to let bad things get in the way. This goes on to talk about how to deal with bad people, which is a skill that needs to be practiced. The Stoics were on to something important when they said to focus on what we can control. Changing other people isn't one of those things, but controlling how we react to them is. It's about keeping a mental wall up, so negativity doesn't get through and cloud our judgment or spirits. Imagine a raincoat in heavy rain. It doesn't stop the rain, but it keeps you dry. That's the kind of resilience we're looking for. So the next time someone doubts or criticizes your plans or goals, think of Jordan and focus on strengthening your own path instead of trying to convince them. Smile and nod, and then go on with your plans. You need to get things done, and negative thoughts shouldn't be able to stay in your head without paying rent. Be silent and pay attention to what you're doing. Enjoy the process and let the descent fade into the background. It's your journey, and you're the only one who can guide you. Setting and achieving goals is important for both personal and business growth. Setting goals gives you a feeling of direction, motivation, and purpose. Setting goals that are clear and attainable will help you focus your efforts and see how far you've come. Let's look at these key points to see why it's important to keep your eye on your goals. Clarity and a plan. Making clear goals helps you figure out what you need to do. It gives you a map and a feeling of direction, which helps you decide what to do and how to do it. It's easier to stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked when you know what your goals are. Driving force and inspiration. Setting goals is what drives people. They keep you motivated and give you something to work toward, especially when things are hard. Working toward your goals can really inspire you because it makes you feel like you're making progress and completing tasks. Tracking and being responsible. Setting goals helps you see how far you've come. You can keep track of your progress and hold yourself responsible by setting clear, measurable goals. In this way, you can stay on track and make any changes to your plans that are needed. Setting priorities and focusing. Setting clear goals helps you organize your work and use your resources well. It keeps you focused on jobs that help you reach your goals and keeps you from getting sidetracked by less important ones. Setting priorities in this way makes things more productive and efficient. Growth and development of the person. Setting and achieving goals helps you keep learning and growing. You gain new skills, information, and experiences as you work toward your goals. This growth not only helps you reach your current goals, but it also gets you ready for new tasks and chances in the future. In conclusion, focusing on your goals is one of the most important things you can do to succeed at anything. You can give yourself direction, inspiration, and a way to track your progress by setting clear, attainable goals. Setting these goals as priorities and working toward them will help you be more productive and grow as a person. Set goals because they can help you shape your future and meet your goals. Number 7. Looking for help. People who seem to disagree with us on every level make us feel like we're in a fast-paced fight to stay calm. You get pissed off or angry. When we deal with dangerous people, we often find ourselves in this tough situation. It tests our patience, but it's important for our other requests. Let's look at how we can get help in these cases. Don't show weakness shows a lot of smart talk about your problem with someone you think can help you, like how a candle can light the way. Seeing things you've never seen before makes our choices stronger, not our struggle to keep going. But there is a wise adult in your corner who shows us the strength of our mental courage and gives us advice from a deep well of experience. Think about what that is. It's a great way to get support that can help us walk and use magic and grace. The toughness we have inside. We need to know when outside thoughts can help us understand that we can't control what other people do, but we can control what we do. Stoicism teaches us how to separate ourselves from a problem so that we can see it from a higher level. It's like drawing a card to see another roti that we might have missed when we first started looking for help. We give ourselves time to think, breathe, and pick the right words. Check to see if they fit with our beliefs and give us peace of mind. Take a moment to think about the times you helped people who were in trouble and how you did it. You tried to go it alone, you depended on your own strength, or you found that supportive attitude that could make all the difference. Remember, Mark, that a real Stoic is not just stillness or silence. It hurts, but we know when and how to use the wisdom around us to make the road easier and more peaceful. Number 8. Taking charge of the bad things about yourself. Taking charge of bad self-talk. Remember the first time you met someone whose energy was like a rain cloud on a parade? We've all felt the weight of someone else's negativity pulling us down. Surprisingly, the way we talk to ourselves when we're around toxic people can either protect us or hurt us. Every time you think about yourself, picture a garden and each thought as a seed. These seeds of power and resilience help us. It's good to be strong, but if you add questions and fears, they can choke out all the good. But that's only part of the story. Sometimes we can't just walk away. That's when the old Stoic wisdom comes in. It's not about what happens to us, but how we deal with it. Stoicism teaches us that our reactions show how strong we really are. So, when you're going through the rough waters of someone else's negative influence, pay close attention to the thoughts you're having with yourself. Instead of asking, "Why do I have to deal with this?" think, "How can I grow stronger from this encounter?" This could help you develop resilience, empathy, or the courage to stand up for your own boundaries. Changing your viewpoint isn't just semantics, it's reclaiming your power. Imagine someone's negative comments as arrows. If your self-worth is an impenetrable shield, those arrows can't touch you. That doesn't mean you won't feel the pain sometimes, but remember that those arrows can only hurt you if you let them. Take a moment to think about how often you let outside negativity affect your self-talk. Controlling this doesn't mean building a fortress around your heart. It's about knowing your worth, understanding that your reaction is your power, and sometimes just choosing not to give your peace away. Stoicism isn't about not feeling anything. It's about picking which fights are worth your heartbeats. Remember that you are the only person in this world that you can really control. Being aware of, accepting, and taking action on the bad parts of yourself are all parts of the process of self-improvement. It means figuring out where you can improve, working on your flaws, and turning them into strengths. This process not only helps you grow as a person, it also makes your life more satisfying and healthy. Being aware of and recognizing yourself. Know your weaknesses. The first thing you need to do is be honest with yourself about the bad habits or traits that are holding you back. Being self-aware is important because it helps you see what you need to work on. Self-reflection. Writing in a journal or meditating are regular ways to think on yourself that can help you figure out your behavior patterns and what sets you off. Taking responsibility and accepting. Accept that you and everyone else has flaws, and that being honest about them is a sign of strength, not weakness. Take responsibility for what you did and how it turned out. Putting the blame on outside forces will only stop your growth. Set goals that are doable. Define. Clear goals. For your trip to self-improvement, make sure your goals are clear, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART. Break down your goals. Making your big goals into smaller, more manageable jobs will help you get there faster. Learn to do good things. Replace bad habits. Figure out the bad habits that make you who you are and replace them with good ones. Keep things the same. Make sure you keep up with these new habits so they become part of your normal life. Ask for help and feedback. Find a support system. Surround yourself with friends, family, or teachers who will be there for you and give you support and helpful feedback. Be open to feedback. It's good to get constructive feedback in order to grow. Use it to change how you act and how you approach things. In conclusion, getting rid of the bad things about yourself is an ongoing process that changes over time. You have to be committed, patient, and ready to change. You can turn your flaws into strengths and live a more powerful and satisfying life by focusing on self-awareness, acceptance, setting goals, making good habits, and asking for help. Don't forget that the process of improving yourself never ends. Every step you take is one more step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Number 9. Approach that focuses on solutions. Do you ever think about how to deal with those bad people? We all have to deal with people we don't like. It's like walking through thick fog. Every step is uncertain and the air is heavy. The key is to adopt a solution-focused mindset that is based on Stoicism. This way of thinking allows us to turn these interactions into chances for personal growth and emotional intelligence instead of sources of frustration, as you might think. It takes imagination to change the rules for toxic relationships. It's like playing chess. You have to plan several moves ahead and guess how people will react without getting emotional. To do this, you have to listen more than you speak and reply calmly, which is a skill that many people admire but few actually master. You can stay calm and not get caught up in the chaos with this smart creativity. Being able to change with the times is your best friend in these cases. It's the ability to stick to your ideals even when dealing with people who are difficult. Think of yourself as a tree with strong roots that can bend in the wind. When faced with the storms of poison, this toughness makes you stronger and gives you the tools to handle any storm. Now, I want you to think about how you react when you're faced with negativity or manipulation. Remember that you might not be able to avoid toxic people, but by adopting a stoic, solution-focused attitude, you're not only avoiding the problems that negativity brings, you're actively creating a life of peace, resilience, and dignity. Remember that in the big picture, what makes us unique is not the problems we face, but how we solve them. Number 10. Do not get into pointless fights. This old saying, "Choose your battles wisely," has never been more true than in today's world, where every interaction can feel like a minefield when dealing with toxic people. It's like going through a maze at night. You never know when you'll hit a wall. The key is not to charge at every wall you encounter, but to feel your way around and decide which paths are worth taking. Some conflicts are just energy drainers with no exit or treasure at the end. By recognizing this, you can avoid a lot of trouble. You might be surprised to learn that the most powerful thing you can do is sometimes not to react at all. When toxic people say mean things about you, they're usually looking for a reaction, any sign that their words have hit home. By not responding, you take the wind out of their sails. You don't have to ignore the problem. You just have to choose not to let it control you. Your energy is valuable. Use it in important fights. Don't fall into the trap of trying to change someone who is harmful. Behavior by arguing or reasoning with them is like putting out a fire with gasoline. It makes the flames worse. Instead, ask them to think about the situation to help them see it from a different point of view. This is about switching from confrontation to conversation. This method won't always work, and that's okay. The goal isn't to win every battle with them, but to keep your peace and dignity while fighting. Kindness is your shield, and patience is your sword. It doesn't mean you agree with or approve of the other person's behavior. It just means you're strong enough to look past the surface. Remember that everyone is going through their own problems, some of which you have no idea about. By being patient, you give yourself time to respond instead of react. This doesn't make you weak, it makes you smart. Please take a moment to think about the times you've dealt with difficult people. Do you see any patterns? Are there fights you've been putting up that aren't worth your time? Remember that being stoic doesn't mean being emotionless. It means not letting your emotions control you. It means knowing where to put your energy and knowing that not every battle is yours to fight. So the next time you're about to get into a fight, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? It's easy to get into fights and disagreements in our daily lives, but not every battle is worth winning. Fights that don't matter can drain our energy, hurt our relationships, and take our attention away from our goals. A big part of growing as a person and being emotionally intelligent is knowing when to walk away. This lesson will talk about why it's important to avoid useless arguments and give you ways to do that. Hey, figure out what the conflict is worth. Assess importance. Before you get involved, ask yourself if the problem is really important. In the long run, will it matter? Growth as a person. Try to figure out if the disagreement is a chance to learn or get better. If not, all that time and work might not have been worth it. Learn about your feelings. Self-awareness means being aware of what makes you feel bad and how that makes you act. This helps keep you in check and stops you from losing your cool quickly. Emotional control. Learn methods like deep breathing, meditation, or pausing to control your feelings before you speak. Useful communication. Active listening means that you pay attention to what the other person is saying and don't talk over them. This can often stop possible fights before they happen. Assertive communication. Say what you're thinking and feeling in a kind and clear way, and don't act aggressively or passive-aggressively. Pick your fights. Smartly assess consequences. Think about what could happen as a result of the fight. It will either solve a problem or make it worse. Put peace first. Keeping the peace and preserving relationships is sometimes more important than arguing or making a point. Look for common ground. Find agreement. Pay attention to what you agree on instead of what you disagree on. This can help people come up with ideas that work for everyone. Give and take. Be ready to give in when you can. Giving in shows that you are mature and ready to work toward a solution. In conclusion, it's not always worth it to fight. You can save time, energy, and keep your relationships healthier if you learn to tell the difference between issues that matter and those that don't. Being self-aware, communicating clearly, and controlling your emotions can help you handle disagreements in a better way. Remember that staying out of the fight is sometimes the best way to win. Number 11. Find out about fake friendliness. Isn't it crazy how quickly a simple conversation can turn into a full-blown fight? It's like a small spark that grows into a wildfire that destroys everything. But here's the thing. Not every spark has to become a fire, especially when working with toxic people who don't understand the idea of false friendliness can save you. It's just a matter of knowing when to use it. If someone says they're on your side while quietly stacking wood to feed the fire, their body language doesn't lie. Smile that doesn't light up their eyes or arms crossed over their chest are subtle signs that someone isn't being honest, that they have secret goals and aren't really caring about you. Take a moment to listen to what isn't being said. A voice that sounds like honey but lacks warmth, or an awkward more than words can be learned from a laugh that seems to interrupt the flow of speech. These small details of speech are like unseen threads that hold everything together, pulling at your instincts and pushing you to see that things are not as they seem. As it may seem, the way someone talks can show what they're really like. It's as clear as day what their plans are for those who choose to see. You can tell a lot about a person by the trends you see in their behavior. True character is like the steady beat of a drum. It doesn't change, and you can count on it. Behavior that changes a lot depending on who is watching, on the other hand, is as weak as a leaf in the wind. That means the friendship show is just that, a show. In the world of human relationships, it's important to keep an eye on these patterns. For King, stability means being able to see through the fake friendliness. Is not just about keeping yourself safe from bad relationships. It's about creating a space where real relationships can grow, is what it means to be a light of realness and a sea of lies leading other people to the shores of real links. So if you think something is wrong, trust your gut. Gut. Pay attention to the signs. And remember that not every hand reached out to help. If you want to keep your friendship, don't change your mind. The road ahead is all yours. Remember that your peace is a fortress, and give it the care it needs. Of being tough, thanks for watching, and see you in next video.